how did you transition into doing Christian hip hop? Like, what was the first like thing that got your feet wet in Christian hip hop?
Ruslan.
So at that point, it was a good friend of mine, Brian Taylor, who was one of the main reasons why we started going to this church for small groups right out of that like terrible like season. And I started to like find my faith and revive my faith. And so it was 3 of us, and he pretty much moved to LA because he wanted to do music, and we formed a business partnership with him, and we became like a Christian rap group.
What was the name of this Christian rap group?
Don't worry about it.
Ah!
It was more like pop, more like
okay.
Black Eyed Peas vibes.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah, so I mean, I wouldn't say rap.
Okay.
Somebody
gonna dig this up, you know. Somebody.
Hey, I have no shame. You know what I'm saying? I have no shame. Everybody has a past.
You're unashamed.
Oh yeah.
Sure. You like that?
That was good. And he moved to LA on a whim. He was like, if we're gonna break in the Christian music space, I need to be in LA where all the decision makers are.
Wow.
So he finds himself an internship with Vicky Mack, who is the owner of, I forget the name of the distribution company, but that distribution company distributed Reach Records. And they also, she's the person that founded Kirk Franklin, Vicky Mack. And he was interning for like her husband.
What year was this?
It's like 2010.
Oh, this is early. Okay.
This is like January 2010, and we had a song that we did as a group that he sent to her to listen, and she loved it. They sent that song to Lecrae and Ben. Lecrae and Ben said they wanted me to meet them in Atlanta because I was in Atlanta, and they wanted to basically buy our song as a group. And we were like super green and dumb, and was like, no, we can't buy our song, but here goes some beats.
Sheesh.
And just kind of took off.
You wish you would have sold that song in hindsight?
I'm glad I didn't, because the song it's a long story.
It wasn't a good song, or?
I mean, it was good for the time. Sometimes you make music that's good for the times, but it's not good for the ages. You know what I mean?
That's. Say that again. That's a bar right there.
It's good for the times.
Sometimes you make music that's good for the times, but it's not good for the ages.
Yeah, it's like Laffy Taffy was good for the time.
Yeah.
But just not gonna age well. But you know, it's like ringtone. So it was a cool song then, but I don't think in hindsight. But with some of the beats that we placed, I thought were pretty good. It was on Rehab album.
So boom, so you get your foot in the door. You go from trying to do Christian music, being in the group, out the gate, you're on the Rehab album.
Yeah, I played a batch of beats. One of them was Check-In Intro, Walking on Water. It's another cool nugget for producers. Walking on Water, we had the hook. We just would always make songs because we were artists.
You guys were doing beats with hooks on them.
Yeah,
Smart.
We used to do it too. It's really cheesy and Jesus music, but it was.
I remember that.
That's us. Wow. That's me on the hook with my guy.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's all right. So like, we would always be making songs, and we because we were writers and producers too. We would just put hooks on them. And it wasn't like we were trying to pitch music. It was like, we like making tracks, and we are artists. We're making music for our projects, and the stuff that we didn't. So the Walking on Water song, which was a homie, we wrote that, and my good friend Tina Fears did the hook. I'm trying to think, why do we have a song with a girl singing the whole song? Why do we do that? What we trying to? We had an inroad to Mary Mary's camp. So we were trying to maybe pitch it to like Mary Mary or something.
Okay.
And Cray heard it and was like, yo, that's fire. Take off the verses. I'll put a verse on it.
Dope. How do you go from doing a couple joints on Rehab in 2011, to 2017, you're the head A&R of Reach Records? So
after the Rehab, we started doing all this other Reach Records production, all that kind of stuff. At that point, I quote unquote stopped doing what I felt was secular music. I didn't know how to feel about it anymore. But then I started to mature, and I realized like God took me out of the quote unquote mainstream to center me with Him. And then once I started producing music for the right reasons, sometimes you give up your dreams. Those doors kind of opened up again. Opened back up again. And
I remember you got a big Lil Wayne placement.
Yeah. It was Carter 5, which is good. So I basically started doing production, not limited to just Christian artists.
Right.
But my intent and heart behind it was a lot different. So if I'd have had the Lil Wayne, the Nicki Minaj placements when I was like 22, 23, and out here when I first left my job, I probably wouldn't have been married. I probably would have, like, I don't know, fell off the wagon, just ran with the wrong crowd. My intent would have just been kind of all off. So I kind of had to go through that, like, humbling period to kind of get the heart right. So when I had opportunities to produce for Lil Wayne, T.I., Nicki Minaj, it wasn't like my idol anymore. It was like, all right, cool, great. You know, it wasn't like I'm not idolized. You know what I'm saying?
That's dope. So you landed more Christian placements.
Right.
Boom, you start landing secular placements.
Yeah.
And then, like, how does the A&R thing happen?
So
at Reach?
the A&R thing happened at Reach when guess I'll share this. Low key, they had put a APB out, like a job posting for the A&R position.
Okay.
In 2016, and somebody hit me, and I actually just applied for it, and I interviewed, went through the whole process. And at the time, I think they went.
But you were already working with them, so you're already producing. I'm producing, and then you still apply for it.
Well, I'm producing. At that point, I hadn't produced a record with them since KB's 100, which was like about a year and a half. So yeah, I mean, I had relationships with the label.
But you're just kind of hired gun. You come in when they need you.
I'm like freelance. Like when they need tracks, I'll send music. But it wasn't like I was hanging out in the studio with them. Like it wasn't like I was in the culture. I would say I'd be around it, but I wasn't like in it. So I mean, So I mean, KB was still my guy. He'd hit me up every now and then. Who else I was working with at the time? You know what? Joseph Parlazny was a good friend of mine. Yeah. He'd always look out for me. Yeah. And like, yo, Lecrae's working on an album, send some beats type of thing. You know? Yeah,
Joseph's awesome.
It was the Anomaly album, sorry.
The Anomaly album. That's my favorite Lecrae album.
Yeah, it's a beast. That's the last album I worked on Reach before. Yeah, that's what it was. It was the track Runners. That's right. I'm trying to think, when was the last, I don't think I would have even had an opportunity to be an A&R if I hadn't worked on an album. But I basically had a relation with a recent placement with them that was substantial, you know. So that's good for something. And low key, so I applied for the position and went through the interview process. And I think at the time they liked what I offered, but they went with someone else, which I wasn't too discouraged. I was like, you know what? Honestly, I probably wasn't really ready for it anyway. I was still doing a lot of my own stuff, and Natalie was the A&R for that year. Right, I remember that. Yeah. She did some good stuff over there. Yeah, she killed it. So when she decided to like not continue on, they had like reached back out and it was like, hey, we liked you when you interviewed before, and Natalie's moved on. We want to fill this position. So. Julio Jones. I'm from Atlanta, you throw me the ball and I score in the zone. They hit me up for a deal like it's something I do on the phone. Just cause it's me in the studio don't mean I do it alone. Julio Jones.